take our seats. It's an honor to introduce the guests at the high table. We have His Excellency Honorable Felix Mutate, Minister of Science and Technology in the Republic of Zambia. We also have His Excellency Albert Muchanga, Commissioner for Economic Development, Trade, Tourism, Industry and Minerals, African Union Commission. We also have Her Excellency Dr. Amany ASFOUR, President of the Africa Business Council, and we also have Her Excellency the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry. We welcome you all to this important forum. Please feel welcome. We are now opening this ceremony with the remarks by Her Excellency Dr. Amany ASFOUR, President of the Africa Business Council. Dr. Amany ASFOUR.
Your Excellency, Minister of Science and Technology of Zambia, Your Excellency, Ambassador Albert Muchanga, Commissioner for Economic Development, Trade, Industry, Mining and Tourism, my sister PS of the Ministry of Trade and Industry of Zambia, Captains of Industries, my dear brothers and sisters here present from across the African continent, my great team for Africa Business Councils, members and executive board. It is my real pleasure to be here with you in this very important 13th African Union Private Sector Forum under the theme of the role of private sector towards increasing investment in energy and agribusiness to upscale productive capacities and industrialization drive in Africa. In this beautiful city of Lusaka, Zambia, which is actually was a second home to me, as I was the chair for COMESA Business Council for 2 terms. So it is really the capital for us in the COMESA region. I'm really very excited today because as the voice of the African private sector, that is inclusive all the members across the continent of the REX Business Councils, COMESA Business Council sits on our board, SADC Business Council, the Federation of West Africa Chambers of Commerce, the East Africa Chambers of Commerce, the SADC Business Councils, the Continental Organization, Pan-African Manufacturer Associations, A-Trade Group, all the continental sectorial and private sector business councils, the African Alliance for Women Empowerment. It gives me a great pleasure to be here to address the opening remarks of this important meeting. The founding vision of our Africa Business Council is a competitive, borderless, innovative Africa for trade, investment, and industrialization. So within our founding vision, we have identified 3 pillars for our strategy for the triadic empowerment of our African private sector. The first pillar is about personal empowerment programs and private sector strengthening for our SMEs, women and youth, and corporates. It's really about the awareness about the trade agreements. It's about the personal skills for our advocating as a private sector to have at least 40% of all government procurements that goes to African private sector. Your Excellency, Minister, it is very important that what is manufactured on the African soil should be used by Africans, and whatever manufactured on African soil should not be imported from outside the continent. And that's why Africa Business Council advocating to have at least 40% of government procurement goes to African private sector, including SMEs, women and youth. Another policy, yes, we need a big clap because we need our ministers, our heads of states to adopt that. Yesterday, I was also on a virtual meeting with the DCP of African Union and His Excellency President Nana of Ghana that we pledged as African Business Council to advocate with the heads of states and the policy organs to have this policy. About 40% of government procurement goes to SMEs, including women and youth, because yesterday was the launch of the WIFI, which is the Women and Youth in Financial and Economic Inclusion, which started the decade 2020 till 2030. So we want all of you to really advocate with us. Another issue is about financial inclusion, how to access finance and access to credit for our SMEs, women and youth, because SMEs are the backbone of our economy. The third pillar is about product development and increased productivity and manufacturing, because if we want to go to implement the ACFTA, what are we going to trade among ourselves? Get containers from outside the continent to trade among ourselves? We need a manufactured, industrialized, competitive, made in Africa, value-added, branded, designed, packaged within Africa to trade among ourselves. So, and this comes really to science and technology, how we link our industrialization with scientific research and technology. And I was really honored to advocate with the heads of state when I got the decision summit of at least 1% of all GDP of African countries should be geared towards scientific research and technology. And how we use science and technology and all our scientific research institutes for industrial designs and linking it to support our SMEs. Because if we're talking now today about agribusiness, how can we have industrial and agribusiness package our own products, manufacture our own machines for agriculture? It's very important to link science and technology with agriculture, agribusiness, with energy, and also today, because of its energy, Africa Business Council is leading a program and a survey with reference to the economic, social, and governance, and how enterprises will be really serving and having social, economic, and governance within their communities. So this survey, the results of it will be conducted during the Africa Business Council Energy Conference that we are organizing alongside the COP27. All of you know that COP27 will be organized in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. It's the biggest conference for climate change. How can Africa invest? What is the role of the private sector in investment in green and blue economy and renewable energy to mitigate the risks of climate change and empower our African private sector? Climate change and all this consumption of carbon, and this is caused by the industrialized continents, while Africa is the most affected. So also this is one of the main targets for Africa Business Council through the Energy Committee. Africa Business Council have committees which is about energy, investment, trade, infrastructure, creative industries, healthcare and healthcare, tourism, mineral development resources. And within mineral development resources, because we are here in Zambia, we know there is a lot of minerals, there is copper, there is emerald. You know that all the gemstones that is produced and mined within the African continent goes outside the African continent to be cut and polished. So Africa Business Council have a very ambitious program to set up training schools for small-scale miners, women and youth, in order to cut and polish our own stones. Big designers don't have to go to Jaipur, India, for getting the cut stones, the colored cut stones from Africa, polished there. It has to be here within the continent. Commissioner, you are responsible about mining. Africa Business Council is pledging to support you within reference to how we really utilize and polish and cut our stones and manage our own resources for minerals. Thank you. So within also our committees for creative industries, with a huge committee, we're having how all the creative industries among our youth, among our African private sector, the tourism and hospitality sector. And we know here in Zambia, we want to promote the tourism. We should go after that to Livingstone and make some punch jumping to promote the tourism within our African continent. The Africa Business Council is the voice of all the private sector, including the large corporates, but also the rural women, the SMEs, the small-scale farmers, the small-scale miners, the women entrepreneurs, the youth entrepreneurs. It is here where all of us come together for the realizing of our agenda, 2063 development agenda, a prosperous, integrated, peaceful Africa, driven by the citizens of Africa. And we are the citizens of Africa. So it is up to us to see how we partner and have a public-private sector dialogue to realize the Africa we want. And as I always mention, and I always say it in all my speeches and challenge my African leaders when they say, we want Africa to be free from hunger, free from disease, free from literacy. And I say, no, we as private sector want to join efforts with governments to have Africa not free from hunger, but well nourished, not free